we got homie Holmes stopping by today. You're going to get used to this dude because he hangs out with me on videos sometimes. But what we got going today is modeling with quadratic functions, okay? Like always, make sure you're taking writings as your title and your notes. Once again, when you study for our first test, that's going to be coming up pretty soon. You know what you're looking at, okay? And you know which section to go to. Now, the main part of this section is it's going to be a lot of our calculators, all right? So get out that TI-84 because you're going to get really good at it today, all right? But we're modeling with quadratic functions. To model data with quadratic functions is our objective. All right, here we go. Write an equation of a parabola. Now, to write an equation of a parabola, remember, we really have two forms. We call the standard form, okay? And depending on sometimes we actually got the general form and vertex form. We already used both of these, right? Class, okay? When we use, because it helps us to know what the vertex is, which is and or some people call that the general form of a quadratic. And this is what we're doing. Our calculators are so awesome, it does it for us. All right, so what I'm going to have each and every one of you do is get out those sweet little calculadoras. All right, and then what we are going to do is I'm going to teach you how to use it here. Give 3 points here. 0, 1, -2. So what we're going to do is I'm going to clear my screen so I get a nice, pretty screen to look at so we could hit second quit. Okay, sweet. It is clear as can be. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to hit the stat button. Our calculator is going to beautifully make a quadratic equation using those points that they just gave us. Now, we're -2 and 1. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to, I think I might have to move this, dude. Let me move myself over there. Isn't that sweet? Spling, 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 spling. All right, here we go. So we're going to go to stat and we're going to hit edit. So we're going to choose enter. Okay. Now, something important to note is if you want to ever clear any of your lists here, it's list 1, list 2. It's like having an X and a Y value, is you have to hit the clear button. Don't you dare hit delete button. If you do, it will actually delete your entire list. Okay, we're going to hit clear. Okay, now if for some reason I were to delete, oh snap, it went away. If I actually did that, I would have to come back here to stat, and I would have to choose number 5. Set up the editor and hit enter. Donezo! So now when I go back here, I'm good to go. It's got the L1 back up there, okay? So you don't have to freak out if you delete it, but you will have to go back and set it back up, okay? So if you notice, we had X values of 0, -1, and 1. And I think it's helpful to go down like that, okay? Because if not, you have to do much of switching back from left to right. You have to hit enter after you put each one in. Okay, and then if I do that, I'm going to plug in the Y values, which was 0, 0. Hopefully I remember these correctly. -1, -2, and then 1, 6. Okay, so there we go. We have our 3 points. That's going to make up a quadratic equation, and I need the formula or the equation of the quadratic. So what do I do from there? Well, I go to second quit. I get out of there. Okay, get my pretty screen again. I like it to be just clean. And then I'm going to go back to the stat. Okay, and I'm going to choose the calc. So I'm going to go over one to the right, which is calc. And I'm going to use the one that would be quadratic. Okay, and the one that's quadratic would be number 5. So you can scroll down to number 5, but I think it's much easier if you just push the number 5. Okay, and if you have a new 84 calculator, okay, it should say look exactly like I have it right there. Okay, which is L1, L2, and if you didn't have that there, if you notice, look at the number 2 on our calculators. Okay, it has L2 in blue. So I could just hit second 2, and it would type an L2 in there, okay? Enter. We don't put anything in for that frequency list. But when it says store regular equation, we're going to hit alpha, trace, and we're going to store in Y1. Alpha, trace, and store it in Y1. Okay? Now, some people may not have this new version in their calculators. If you don't, make sure you come in early tomorrow, and I'll show you guys how to do it in maybe like the 83 calculator. Okay, we hit enter. We hit enter again. And booyah! There it is. it says y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, I can't write on this screen. So back here, that just means class that a is 2, b is 4. So it would be y equals, what was it again? A was 2 and b was 4 and c was 0. So it would be 2x squared plus 4x plus 0. Obviously, I don't have to write that 0 in there. You know what else is really about our calculators here, class? Is what I could do is I could go to this y equals button and boom! It stored it in the Y1, and then I could zoom 6, because the standard viewing window is always the first window I want to look at, and snappity-dappity, there's my parabola. Sweet! Now remember, whenever we look at a parabola, what's very important? It's the vertex. Now everybody at home with this vertex, which is this guy right here, is that vertex would be a max or min? Would that be a minimum value, right? And there's actually a way to find out what that vertex or the minimum would be. And the way I do that is I hit second calc, which is the trace button. I choose 3 because there's a minimum. Okay. I put this little cursor where the minimum is, and it's going to see how it says left bound question mark. Okay, so I'm going to go left 2 times. I'm going to go to the left 2 times of the vertex. And then when it says right, I'm going to make sure I go to the right 2 times, at least 2 times, and enter. And then I enter again. Boom! -1, -2. That's the vertex of my parabola. It has a minimum value of -2. Remember, minimum value is always the y. All right, so now what you're going to do at home is we're going to do one more together, class. Okay, but you're going to do what we're trying to get you guys to do at home, which is this problem right here. Do it on your own, and then let's see how it goes. Okay, so make sure you hit pause. Okay, hopefully you tried it. Hopefully you unpaused it. 0, 0, 1, -2, and -1. Okay, so to do this again, practice makes perfect. I go to edit. 0, 0 was started on that graph. They did have -1. They have -1 comma -4. So I'm going to change that to a -4. Enter. Make sure you hit enter. It won't end. And then 1 -2. So I'm going to put -2 in for that one. Enter. Make sure you hit enter. Okay. Now see if you remember the keystrokes. And if you don't remember the keystroke, be smart, intelligent student, and make sure you're writing them down. Okay? Right, Holmes? For sure. All right. So to do this now, remember we hit stat. Okay, we're going to go over to calc. It's a quadratic regression. So we're using number 5. L1. Remember, I could do second number 1, and that's L1. Enter. Enter. Frequency list, nothing. But we're going to store this in alpha trace. Let's store it in Y2. Boom. Enter. Calculate. Booyah! There's your equation. It'd be y equals -3x squared plus 1x plus 0. And the important thing here is, you guys see that little r squared equals 1? You may not have that in your calculators. If you don't have that, come see me tomorrow, because that's something that we want on our calculators, and I'll show you how to get it, okay? And that just means a 1 means it's 100% accurate. I could go zoom 6 if I want to see what the graph looks like. And you know what's cool is I put this in Y2. So I have my first graph, which was the one we did earlier. And then my second one, oh, sweet, it comes up red. Oh, and that guy has a maximum. So if I wanted to find that maximum, I'd hit second calc. I would choose a maximum value. Ooh, that's on the blue graph. Ooh, see how I get up, down? Up, blue. That's the blue graph. It actually says it up there. Boom, I want the red graph though. So left bound means go to the left 2 times of where the max would be. Go to the right 2 times of where the max would be. And I hit enter, and I get, ooh, that's a big decimal representation, right? The maximum value would be 0.08. Okay, all right, let's keep rolling here. How else can I use my calculatora in this section? There's a whole bunch of practice problems. If you wanted to practice, go ahead and pause and practice some of those guys, okay? But now we're going to get a little crazy. All right, we have campers at an aerospace camp launch rockets on the last day of camp. The rocket go by that equation right there, that parabola right there. The path of rocket 2 is modeled by this graph. Ooh, I was incorrect. That rocket 1. Rocket 1 is red. Rocket 2 is blue. And it's asking us which rocket is higher. Now remember, we learned in the lesson before today in section 4.2 that I could actually find where this vertex would be on rocket number 1. Okay, there's the vertex. And remember, the vertex is h is equal to the opposite of b over 2a. So what would that be? That would mean h would be equal to the opposite of negative 150 over b times negative 16. B times, what are you doing? Opposite of b over 2a, which would be negative 16, which would be negative 150 over 32, negative 32. And what is negative 150? And in my calculators, I got 4.6875. Now, to know how high that goes, remember, I'm going to plug that in for all of those t's right there. And I've got this sweet new calculators, right? So I can go to my calculator. I can go second quit. And I can go, ooh, what was it? Negative 16. But then I'm going to put that 4.875 and I'm going to square it. So my calculator is going to do all this stuff beautifully for me. That's what I got, right? I'm going to check my, I wrote that in wrong. It's 4.6875. And that would be the t. So that would be the time that it reaches its maximum. And then what was it? It was plus 150 t, which would be 4.6875. And if I hit enter, that's how high it goes, 351 feet. Oh, snap, that dude goes way higher. Oh, I forgot the plus 1. Okay, I forgot the plus 1, so I got to add 1 to it. That dude goes way higher. Another way I could do this, class, is I could strictly use my calculator. Okay, and to use my calculator, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to y equals. I'm going to get rid of both of these equations just so I'm not confused. Okay, and I'm going to type that equation in y1, which is negative 16 t squared plus 150 t plus ichi. Now, if I look, I usually go zoom 6, but if you notice here, shoot, this rocket skyrockets, vroom, it goes so high. And if you look at the previous problem, you can just see, look at it, 0 to 800, and it goes from 0 to 16 for the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to window, and I'm just going to compare it exactly to that picture. For the t or the x, it goes from 0 to 16. I think it's always helpful, class, to do scales of 0. It just makes the graph, it makes your calculator graph it faster. Okay, and then I'm going to go from 0 to 800. 0 to 800. And you know what's nice about doing it using your calculator? You don't have to do any of the math by hand. Don't even have to find the vertex. Okay, and then I graph that bad boy, and there is rocket number 1. Which one goes higher? We already know. But some people, they like doing it by hand. Some people like using the calculator. So here we go. We all know how to find that maximum, right? We hit second calc. We choose the max button, which is number 4. We go to where we think the max is. Come on, come on, come on. Let's go. Let's get it. And then remember, when it says left bound, you go 2 times to the left. You go 2 times to the right. And then you hit enter, and boom. There it is. 352 feet. So rocket 2 destroys rocket 1. Okay? And that's it. Okay? Let's go to the next one. Okay. Oh, buckets. Right? Shling, shling. A basketball player throws, I mean, I don't know about you, but I shoot it, right? Like The Last Dance. Basketball player follows, and we have basketball player number 1. That is basketball player number 1. This is basketball player number 2. which one of them makes a bucket. And to make the bucket, it's got to have that point on it. Okay, let's look at Hooper number 1. Okay, Hooper number 1 will say, are you guys at home? Hooper number 2 would be Mr. T because he's straight buckets. So let's go to y equals. Boom, I'm going to go with that. What is that? -1 negative 0.125 t squared. Okay, plus 1.84 plus 1.84 t or x. And then I think it was plus 6. Faux show. And then we're going to go ahead and hit zoom 6. And if I had zoom 6, it's not going to give me enough because it said in the problem that the hoop was at 12, 10. Well, this just goes from 0 to 10. So let's go back here to window and let's fix that. Okay, we don't care about negatives because we can't have a negative time. It says 12, 10. So let's go. We always want to go a little bit further than what they're asking us. So 0 to 12. Let's go 0 to 14. Okay, remember scales of 0 are always easier to graph. Y min, well, you better not shoot it underneath the ground. So we're going to go 0. And then it says 12. It's probably going to go higher than that. Let's just go 14. Keep it consistent. We'll go with a 0 scale and we'll graph it. And there it is. Boom. That's you guys. Shling. Does it make it? That's a pretty nice follow through. Pretty nice arc. And does it cross that 12, 10? How do we check that? Well, we hit second. This button's so awesome in our calculators. Okay, what it does first. So we're going to hit second. Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. Okay, I guess I got to move it over some. Let's move it over here a little bit. We'll go second, calc. We're going to choose value. And for value, I'm going to put in a 12 because that's the x or the time. So after 12 seconds, where am I? Oh, what's it say? What's it say? Move, Mr. T, move. It says 12, 10.08. And I don't know about you, but that probably hit a little bit of the back rim, but it went swing. And so I would probably say that would be buckets. All right. Now, how the heck do I do the next